Hey John, we're here at the BandLab booth. I know a little bird told me that BandLab just hit 12 million active users.
We did just hit 12 million. I'm super excited about it.
So I think maybe, I mean, even though that's a lot of people, I think maybe some people don't know exactly what BandLab is and what the whole thing is. So maybe you could give us a skinny on that.
I'll give you the skinny. There's a whole lot more than 12 million people in this world. So BandLab is the all-in-one social music creation platform. And basically what that means is it allows you to use our DAW to create music in the cloud, and it will sync to your phone and to the browser and Google Chrome. And because we're utilizing these cloud technologies, it enables our users to collaborate and create music together. And one of the issues we're trying to solve is these problems that musicians are having with software bloat, expensive software, trying to collaborate with people, not having the right plugins, not being able to quickly create on the go. And BandLab does that by using the cloud and basically bringing a lot of these technologies that we expect in other parts of our life into the music space.
And it's browser-based, right?
It is browser-based, that's correct. So if we look at this, I have what would be familiar to anybody who has done some recording, multi-track DAW. And it's running completely in Google Chrome. So you could go to bandlab.com, create an account, and immediately start making music. And because it's in Chrome, it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't have the same features and functionality as a traditional DAW. For example, we have thousands and thousands of audio loops that will pitch shift and time stretch themselves so that they sound good together. You can do multi-track recording. Even though it's in the browser, you can still talk to any audio interface or any MIDI interface. We have a MIDI editor with a lot of features like humanization, quantization, exporting MIDI to separate tracks, hundreds of sound banks, hundreds of effects presets, a little over 40 audio effects, and we do some cool things like custom MIDI mapping and effects automation as well.
So is that processing, for effects and whatnot, happening locally on the user's hardware? That's not in the cloud. It's just sort of accessed via the cloud.
Yeah. Right? So basically, what we're doing is all of utilizing the web audio API and things like WebAssembly. We can run some really powerful signal processing in Chrome locally, and utilizing the resources of your computer. And whenever you save, everything is sent to the cloud and exactly the state that you left it. And that allows you to open it, say start a track on Chrome and then open it on your Android phone later and have everything in exactly the same state, and you can continue to work on
Android's a kind of key word there, because
Android is a key word.
That's not a word we necessarily associate with audio production or audio applications. So you've got it running on Android as well, right?
Yeah, so all of the features that you see on web right now are available on Android, and from the very beginning of developing BandLab, we wanted to make it fully cross-platform so that when you do want to collaborate with people, which is sort of a core concept for us, that you'll be able to, because they can, if they have a phone or access to a computer, you'll always be able to open and record the sessions.
Okay, so this is the kind of basic or the main interface. I'm guessing you've got, these look like pads or something.
Oh yeah, this is an example of one of our virtual instruments. So it is a sampler. It's called a creator kit, and basically you can think of it as these sort of old school MPC style samplers. So if I play some of these notes.
Okay, so you got a pad. So you got a pad controller there, which is kind of handy, right?
Yeah, so I can plug in any MIDI controller and it will detect it, and I can select.
So that's using web MIDI, presumably.
Exactly,
right?
Using web MIDI. I can select the MIDI device and immediately start playing here as well.
Okay.
Cool.
Could you put your own samples in there as well if you want?
Right now we don't support making custom samples with our MIDI sampler. It's something that we're really interested in doing and needs to be a part of what we're doing. One of the interesting things you can do with MIDI though, which is really exciting, is we just released custom MIDI mappings, and what this allows you to do is select any mappable parameter within BandLab and assign it to any controller. So I can create a filter effect. For example, I'm going to do a low pass with high Q. I'm going to go ahead and open my mappings, hit frequency, and then select the knob.
So just a straight, one MIDI mapping makes perfect sense.
And now I can do.
And how's the latency? I mean, because obviously we're going through the browser and using web MIDI and web audio. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, web audio. So the latency is generally usable, and it is device specific. So if you have an older computer with maybe an older version of Chrome, you're going to have some latency. But for real-time monitoring of vocals, guitar input, the latency is within acceptable for recording. And obviously a MIDI, it's super direct. I can't feel any latency while I'm performing. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, some people might think, oh, it's browser-based. It's kind of, is this more of a toy, or is it something you can actually use, you know, realistically in your creative process? Because I know you're a musician, right? So
I'm a musician. There's a few different use cases for BandLab. It's a really easy-to-use interface, like you said, and it's really great for beginners, but also for me and part of my workflow in collaborating with people. I work in bands, like we can do demos together, right? I can give feedback and comments and chat through the app on what we're working on. In web, we can even do some real-time collaboration. So if I'm working with somebody on the other side of the country, I can actually see them moving the regions around. This is in beta, but it's something that we're very interested in. We also do stem export, and so if I am doing demos and doing songwriting in BandLab on the go, I can export my stems and really integrate it into like my flow, like studio flow.
Yeah, right.
And we also offer a lot of tools for promoting your music. So we have algorithmic mastering, so you can bring in audio samples or your tracks, and we'll help you master them for release.
I'm seeing that up there. This is sort of bullet points as well.
Oh, yeah. And we also have because our community is so large, it's a really great way to find listeners and to like really find people who are interested in your music. And we also offer some other services like BandLink, which is bnd.link, and it allows you to add a single link to your social profiles and link to your tracks.
So trying to sort of join up the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to offer services to musicians at any point in their creative process. And that said, a lot of like professional musicians or people who are experienced in production really like using BandLab and can make a lot of tracks in BandLab just for like its ease of use. And also it has, you know, I think about 90% of what you would expect from any DAW right in Chrome.
So, I mean, where do you make yours? You know, because I mean, is this free? I mean, how much is it?
So BandLab is totally free. If you go to bandlab.com, you can log in, create an account, and start making music immediately. You have unlimited projects, up to 12 tracks. That's just a technical limitation for us right now. And
so that audio that you put up there is stored in your.
It's stored in our servers, and you can access it whenever. You can download it in any sample format. And it's really exciting. So we're also a part of an umbrella of different brands, and we're in a growth period right now where we're really interested in working with our users and iterating and making our app better based on their needs.
Well, and also, if you've got 12 million users, then some of them presumably might be interested in buying other brands' products anyway.
Exactly, yeah. We have Heritage guitars, Harmony guitars. They're all part of the BandLab family. And
so one other thing, technically, tell me about the audio. So if I record audio in here, where does it go? Is it buffering to disk and then going up to the cloud? And what format do you use? Is it lossless? Is it WAV? What's the
So it's going to be in WAV format. Basically what we do is we record into everything internally is done in 32-bit floating point processing. So all the effects, 64, whatever floating point your system is using. In web it happens to be 32. On iOS it's going to be 64. On Android it's going to be 64. It's stored in basically raw buffers in web audio or locally in the memory on your device. And when you save it, it's going to render them and send them to the server, and everything's saved in high-quality WAV format.
Right, so, I mean, I guess they're limited, because if you record a, 20-minute song and you've got 4 tracks, that's a bunch of audio that has to then get sent up. So you do need some audio bandwidth, or network bandwidth.
Exactly, you need some bandwidth. We won't, while you're recording, we won't sync with the server or any of this stuff. There's a 6-minute limit up front on iOS, Android, and web, and we're working in the early part of this quarter to sort of extend our limits. Part of that was experimenting with the use cases because we can record longer tracks, but again, when you're storing everything in local buffers in Chrome, we have to deal with a little bit of, how much audio can we actually store.
And I suppose the other thing I was curious about was, I mean, how can you go off grid, or does it all have to be locked to grid for kind of synchronization purposes?
Oh, like timing grid, or yeah, you can be off grid. So we have in our view, you can take off snap to grid, and you can also have custom snap to grid settings. So it doesn't have, not everything has to be beat based. We have all different types of track types, stuff like drum machine, but for example with guitar, we have a whole bunch of different presets based on popular sounds, and you can see all the effects have been applied. I can change the amp model. We have tons of different amp models, tons of different types of distortions. I can change the impulse or the cabinet. There's a lot of stuff. I can change the microphone that's used on it, or the position of the microphone. And this is an example of where what was once considered like sort of an expensive feature in a plugin or a mobile application is now free and accessible like in the browser.
So I'm guessing this is because it's browser based. It's one window. You can't have multiple browsers over
Yes.
a link. I mean that would be
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
We do have a one window.
But if you've got a bigger screen,
Yeah.
then you've got a bigger window, right?
Yes, exactly.
And does it scale? I mean, can you zoom in and zoom out like you
Yeah,
can with
yeah,
web
totally
pages?
fine. Yeah, you can get real close in there.
All right.
Yeah. So and we even have some cool stuff like automation. So volume, panning, effects parameters. We can apply automation, and you can see the parameters moving in real
So
time.
presumably you can close this window down and we can have a sort of higher track count. We can
Exactly,
see that.
yeah. I can add up to 12 tracks. Say I want to add a bass track. For people who are just trying to jam, maybe they can start with the drum machine. Right?
Okay.
So I can edit patterns here. This is basically the panel where you're going to work with your instrument and your effects. Another really fun thing that a lot of our users do, we have a huge sample library of loops. So if you're trying to find just sounds to work with, it's great. You can see that I'm in E flat right now, and Dream Pop, let's say keys is an E minor, and it's going to actually transpose this sample automatically for me to, since it's a minor, it's going to go to C minor, which would be the relative minor, to E flat major. And so, especially for people who are just getting ideas or trying to just like sing over something, rap over something, jam,
just make it work,
it's plug and play. We just make it work out of the box.
So tell me a little bit more of that collaborative aspect as well.
Yeah, so there's a few different ways to collaborate within BandLab. I'm going to go back to my library here. So you can see it is a fully functioning social network where people can make posts, and I can see other people, images that they post or audio. I can go to my profile and see all of the tracks that I've been working on. And if I go to these revision pages, I'm able to actually...
so it saves versions as well.
Yeah. So it renders a mix down, and basically you can link this, put it in your social media. I can edit the mastering.
But you can make it private. You don't have to share it.
Yeah, exactly. So I can go to this project history here, and you can see how many different versions of this project have been made every time I save.
And can you load the source?
You can load
session
every
as well?
one of them and the source session, and these are all private. You can see with the lock, but I have one public version here, which you can see. And you can also see that of my original session, I made one edit, I didn't like it, and I started on another branch. And I have access to all of this, which is just
so you must have some serious cloud storage going on.
We have some serious cloud storage going on. And if I go to the project here, you can see that I can invite collaborators by username or email, and they'll have access to all of this project history as well, and I will see when they're making changes. So you can do collaborations on an individual project. You can also make a band, so basically a collective is how we think of it, and everything that you publish is kind of under the name of this band. And the other way is that you can make a track forkable, which is saying, hey, this is in the public domain and anybody can remix this track. And that's another one of the strong parts of having the social aspect of it, is that people are really willing to share their music because they want other people to collaborate with, or you get attribution for it. I've had tracks where I have hundreds of people have remixed them, and it's super exciting to see all the different ways people are engaging with my creative process. And also sometimes when I just want to practice guitar, for example, I can open the mix editor on mobile, need inspiration, jam tracks, and we have a nice list of jam tracks that people have made on BandLab that they have allowed other people to play with. So I could open up this After Christmas song and fork it.
And then just do your own thing.
Just do, yeah, because they basically said, opted into saying, hey, this is, I'm allowing people to use my music for free. And we're very specific that you have to opt in for that, and it's clear
and
that...
presumably, can you set up, because obviously you've got the app as well that maybe run on your phone, it'll notify you and you get messaging through it. So
yeah, it's exactly. So you can follow people, you can message people. We have chat for individuals, for collaborations, for bands. You can comment, like people's tracks, track your listens, and like kind of see how people are engaging with your music as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So I just forked this track on mobile, and you can see that it's a slightly different interface, but it still has all of the same functionality that I would get. So I have this MIDI track that I can see they edited, and you see we have
I'm guessing that's going to work better
MIDI
in landscape
editor.
mode.
Exactly, yeah. MIDI editor and web.
Point.
And again, like there's some effects applied to this. I can go through the different presets that BandLab offers and adjust them or add any of our suites of effects. I could even edit this, you can see, and save it as my own preset so that I can access it and any of my projects or my collaborators have access to it.
It's a pretty powerful system then. Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's, we've been working really hard over the past few years to like offer these kind of features where you can really set up your process and your community for how your music output is, progressing. Yeah.
Wow, so it's literally just bandlab.com and...
BandLab.com, everything I've just showed you is free. Everything is actually free. You're not going to run into advertising or a paid tier. BandLab.com, you can sign up with any of your standard other logins or create a custom account, SMS login, or we're available on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
And of course, you own Cakewalk as well.
Yes,
so.
we also own Cakewalk. And so if you're starting out and you're looking to graduate from BandLab to a more advanced functionality and you have a Windows computer, Cakewalk is an option, and it is also free. For those users who are just looking for sounds and looking for storage and syncing and maybe already have their flow and other DAWs, we have an application called BandLab for Assistant, and it's actually a desktop application where you can see I can sort of manage my projects and my sessions here. So I can see all of my sessions and I can upload them. So if I exported something from, say, Ableton or Logic or Pro Tools, I can upload it. And I can also do our mastering through this. And you can see that you have access to all of the... It's going to take a minute to load because the internet's slow.
Internet's crummy here, isn't it?
But basically, in a second, all of these loop packs are going to load. And, they're all free for use. And you can drag them and drop them into any DAW of your choice. You're not going to have the automatic pitch shifting and time shifting functionality because... That's the DAW's problem at that point, but you have access to all the samples and you can use them for commercially or for whatever you want to do. So,
Right. John, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Really excited.